Warning.
This story isn't fiction. Everything you're about to hear was recorded, and it's being released for the first time. He disappeared in the woods 3 years ago. No body, no clues, just this recording. If you're ready, the tape begins. Day 1. Friday afternoon. Ryan arrived at Blackwood Forest just after 2 in the afternoon, excited about his first solo camping trip. His therapist had suggested it's a way to face his anxiety about being alone, to disconnect from the digital world and reconnect with nature. The autumn forest was gorgeous, the trails nearly empty, and the ranger at the station had assured him it was the perfect weekend for a quiet escape. He hiked 2 miles into the forest and found a secluded clearing to set up camp. Everything went smoothly at first. Tent up, airbag hung properly, campfire crackling as the sun began to set. Ryan felt proud of himself. He was doing this. He was facing his fears. But as twilight fell, he heard something in the woods. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate, circling just beyond the firelight. He told himself it was a deer. Had to be a deer. What else could it be? That night, Ryan woke at 3 in the morning to the sound of something walking around his tent. Not the random wandering of an animal. This was purposeful, methodical. 3 complete circles around his tent, and then it stopped, right outside his door. Ryan lay frozen in his sleeping bag, listening to the sound of breathing that wasn't his own. He didn't open the tent. You never open the tent. If it's a bear or a mountain lion, you stay inside and wait. So he waited, his heart hammering until the sounds finally faded and the forest returned to silence. When morning came, Ryan checked for tracks. There were none. No disturbed leaves, no prints in the soft earth, nothing to indicate that anything had been there at all. But 3 of his tent stakes had been pulled straight up from the ground and placed in a line, pointing into the forest like an arrow. What kind of animal does that? Day 2. The markers. Ryan tried to shake off the strangeness of the night before. First time alone in the woods, weird noises, an overactive imagination. It all made sense. He packed his day bag and set out on what should have been a simple morning hike along the Blue Trail. But an hour into his walk, the trail markers stopped appearing. Ryan checked his map, checked his GPS, but the device wouldn't lock onto any coordinates. It just spun endlessly. Searching for satellites seemed to have abandoned this part of the forest. Tenesawit, a pile of stones with a red ribbon tied to a branch above it. The same marker he'd seen near his campsite the day before, but that was impossible. He was miles away from Campa. How could the same marker be here? Ryan tried to backtrack, following his memory of the path he'd taken. But when he looked down, he realized there were no footprints. The ground was soft, perfect for tracking, but it was as if he'd never walked through here at all. As if the forest had erased every trace of his passage. Panic began to set in. Ryan knew which direction to go if the sun was setting in the west, so camp had to be east. Basic navigation. He walked for 30 minutes, but nothing looked familiar. The trees themselves seemed wrong massive. Oaks twisted into impossible shapes, their branches reaching toward each other like grasping fingers. On one trunk, Ryan found claw marks. Fresh ones, the wood still white underneath, but they were 8 or 9 feet off the ground. What could possibly have made marks that high? As darkness fell, Ryan made a decision. He would stay put, build a fire, and wait until morning. That was the rule, for lost hikers never travel at night. Let the search party find you. He blew his emergency whistle 3 times. The universal distressed signal. From somewhere in the darkness, 3 whistle blows answered him. Same pattern, same timing, but not an echo. Echoes fade and distort. This was a perfect replication, as if something had learned the signal and was repeating it back to him. Ryan sat by his fire as night deepened, trying to stay calm. Every time he blew the whistle, the response came, always from the same direction, always perfectly matched. Then he saw Italiano, something moving just beyond the reach of the firelight. Tall, very tall, standing upright like a person, but the proportions were all wrong. It stood there for a long moment, watching him before stepping silently back into the darkness. Ryan told himself he would stay awake all night. He wouldn't let his guard down. But exhaustion is a powerful thing, and eventually his eyes closed. The camera kept kept recording. At 1:15 in the morning, something walked between Ryan's sleeping form and the fire. In the footage, you can see it clearly. Human-shaped, but impossibly tall, with arms that hung too long and moved in jerky, unnatural ways. It bent down over Ryan, and for just a moment, its face came into view pale, eyeless, mouth stretched too wide. It reached toward him. The footage corrupts to static. Day 3. The change. When Ryan appeared on camera the next morning, something was different. His eyes were wider than they should be. His smile looked forced, stretched. When he spoke, his voice had a strange cadence, as if he were remembering how human speech worked rather than naturally producing it. "Good morning," he said to the camera, that wrong smile never wavering. "I found the trail. Everything is fine. I know exactly where I am now." The forest behind him had changed. The trees stood in perfect geometric patterns, arranged in ways that trees should never naturally grow, and everywhere tied to every trunk, hanging from every branch were red ribbons. Dozens of them. Hundreds. "The markers are helping me," Ryan said. "They've always been helping me. I should have followed them from the beginning." He walked through the forest with that same jerky gait the creature had displayed. His movements stilted and wrong, like someone learning how to operate a body for the first time. "I slept very well. I had beautiful dreams. Something visited me and showed me the way. It wants to help. It wants all hikers to find the path." For the 7th time, Ryan found that same pile of stones with its red ribbon marker. Each time, he reacted as if it were the first. Each time, he insisted he was going the right way. "They're in the trees," he said, his voice filled with something that might have been joy or might have been madness. "They're waving. They want me to come closer. They've been so lonely. No one visits anymore. No one follows the red ribbons." The camera panned up, and there they were. Figures in the trees, tall, pale, impossibly thin. Dozens of them perched on branches that shouldn't have supported their weight, watching with eyeless faces. "They say, I can stay," Ryan continued, that terrible smile still fixed on his face. "They say the forest needs someone new, someone to help guide the others, to place the markers, to whistle back when hikers call." His eyes had turned completely black. "I'm not lost anymore. I know exactly where I am. I'm home. And I'll help others find their way home too. Just follow the red ribbons. They've always been there. They've always been waiting." The camera fell to the ground, showing Ryan's feet as he walked away into the forest. Wit hid Stippy's footprints, disappeared the moment he made them, the forest erasing all evidence of his passage. 4 hours. The camera recorded nothing but empty forest and the sound of wind through leaves. Then, at 2:47 in the afternoon, something picked up the camera. The footage showed a dizzying journey through the trees, carried by something that moved too fast and too smoothly to be human. The camera was placed on a new pile of stones. A fresh red ribbon was tied above it. The lens now faced the trail, waiting. In the distance, a figure stood to watch. Too tall, too still, waiting for the next hiker to find the marker and follow the path that led nowhere good. The recording ended. Aftermath. The search for Ryan Mitchell lasted 3 weeks. Dogs picked up his scent leading from the parking lot into the forest. But the trail ended after only 200 yards, as if he'd simply vanished into thin air. His tent was found untouched near the parking area, all his supplies still inside. A trail camera at point 6 told a strange story. It showed Ryan walking past at 2:47 p.m. on his first day. Then, at 4:15 p.m., walking in the same direction. Then, at 6:02 p.m., still walking the same direction. He claimed in his footage to be miles deep in the forest, but the camera proved he'd been walking in circles near the parking lot the entire time. At 3:33 a.m. on October 30th, the ranger station received a distorted radio call. The voice, later identified as Ryan's, said, "I found the way. Tell them to follow the ribbons. It's so much better here. No one is ever alone." Ryan Mitchell is the 7th hiker to go missing in Blackwood Forest in the past 2 years. All 7 left behind cameras. All 7 had footage of red ribbon markers. All 7 are still missing. Warning signs have been posted throughout the forest. Do not follow unmarked trail markers. Do not respond to whistle calls after dark. Do not investigate red ribbons tied to trees. But every season, more hikers go missing. And every season, more cameras are found, mounted on piles of stones, with red ribbons tied above them. The forest has patterns. The forest remembers. The forest keeps what it takes. And somewhere in those twisted trees, Ryan Mitchell stands watch, his smile too wide and his eyes too dark, waiting to guide the next lost soul deeper into the woods. After all, he knows the way now. He's been following the markers. He's almost home. The camera footage remains in evidence at Ranger Station number 4. 7 tapes recovered. 7 hikers missing. 12 more red ribbon markers have been reported since Ryan's disappearance.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like the video so more will come.